Greetings, brothers and sisters, and welcome to our study today, Sabbath, the 20th of September in the good year 2025, where we are looking at our health study entitled Breastfeeding and Nutrition by Brother Keagan Banda. So we are going to allow Brother Keagan to continue sharing on the study as he gives us the prayer thought and the opening prayer. Brother Keagan.
Okay. The prayer thought, I think you can use City Councils on Diets and Food. That is page. Check it, just 217. Page 17. Okay, let me go. 17. Yes, says God is. Yes. Yes, God is as truly the author of physical laws as he is author of the moral law. God is as truly the author of the physical laws as he is author of the moral law. His law is written with his own finger upon every nerve, every muscle, every faculty which has been entrusted to man. This is coming from Christ's Object Lessons, page 347 and 348 of 1900. Okay. So with this, most of the people, they try to divorce science from religion. But this quote is telling you, saying, also God is the author of science. He says, the physical laws, they govern the law of the nerves, the muscles, the tissues, the faculty of man. In particular, the central nervous system, the human organism, the laws that God instilled into man, he is the one who authored. That's what it says. How the flagellum works, how the organism works, everything, the somatic nervous system, how everything functions is God who authored. And they've got laws. They have laws. These are things that which we ignore. They have laws. And today's science, there's a science that defy the laws which God has instilled into man. And there's a science that promotes the laws that God has instilled into man. Okay. So today we're learning breastfeeding and nutrition. We began a long time learning this series. So therefore, I would like you to pay attention to this. So with this prayer thought, we're going to kneel down and pray. Our Father, which art in heaven, you told us today saying that you are the author also of the physical laws. The physical laws is so broad a term. It includes the laws of health, the laws of the environment, the laws of nature. You are also the author, O Lord. May you help us, O Lord, to adhere also to the laws of nature as we adhere to the laws of the Decalogue, the 10 Commandments. Because in them there is life. Just like you reminded us saying that Adam broke of the law of nature as well as the 10 Commandments. That's the reason there's death among human beings. May you help us all, Lord, to learn these things so that when we learn, we'll escape the doom that is befalling upon humanity. In the name of Jesus, we do pray with thanksgiving in our hearts. Amen. Amen. So in breastfeeding, we learned saying that breastfeeding is an action. Lactation is a process. Okay, an activity is breastfeeding. So the mammals, the group of animals that do breastfeed are called mammals. So particularly we're discussing human beings. Human beings, they breastfeed their children, infants, up to exclusive breastfeeding, that is 6 months when they see the teeth coming out. Okay. But because of today's busy world, a lot of people, they tend to give what you call cow's milk. Others, they've even gone to buy human milk, and others, they give goat's milk to children because of the busy world. They say they want also to work. In PP, I don't know, I think it's page 46. PP 46. Adam and Eve. Eve, in the beginning, God created Eve to be equal to Adam. That is what that page, I think, is discussing. You can confirm. But when when Eve decided to become a god, remember that the temptation was, if you want to be as gods, you eat this fruit. So she wanted to become as gods. So she ate. Then she felt the vivifying power. She thought that she was entering into the higher sphere. In short, she was becoming bossy. She was becoming a god. That's what she felt like. Then, because of that elixir, she decided to pluck the forbidden fruit and went to give it to the husband. Then she explained, saying, when I ate this, what I felt a vivifying power. In short, she was becoming like a god. So if you eat it, also you become likewise. But Adam knew. So he had to decide, saying, okay, she had sinned, so I can't lose her. So let me just eat. So because of her fear of losing the woman, Adam ate. Also, he felt likewise. But the punishment of God, he said, because you did that, you wanted to become like God, you'll be a base. She'll be lower than your husband. That's the reason the woman became lower. Then the case was, your desire shall be upon your husband. That case was to be perpetual until in the last days when God shall seal the 144,000. Today, women, they want to be equal to men. Okay, they want to be equal to men. That's the sin. Also, this, when we study this, it's covered the sole reason to why the children, they are not cared for very well by the parents is because women, they want to be equal to men. They are modern Eve. The modern Eves are the ones who are ruling in our what? Our houses. They want to be as gods. Okay. That is the problem that you found it. Not there. But remember it, huh?
But yes, but though I didn't find it yet.
46.
46.
Yes, you are 40.
Oh, I was in 47. 46 is the fullest.
This is still here. That's a modern view. I think it will come. Is it? No, the one that talks of that's a modern Eve or eco. You see, I think the page is going to come there. Oh yeah. Even Shepherd's Road discusses when it is discussing a when it is discussing the 144,000 will be both male and female. Remember that? Okay, 59. Okay, it's this one. I think it is. It says if it says 58, it's 59. It says Eve had been perfectly happy by her husband's side. In her Eden home, but like restless modern Eves, she was flattered with the hope of entering a higher sphere than that which God had assigned her. In attempting to rise above her original position, she fell far below it. You see, she wanted to enter into a higher sphere, then she fell far below it. A similar result will be reached by all who are unwilling to take up cheerfully their life duties in accordance with God's plan. In their efforts to reach positions for which He has not fitted them, many are leaving vacant the place where they might be a blessing. In their desire for a higher sphere, many have sacrificed true womanly dignity and nobility of character and have left undone the very work that heaven appointed them. Okay, you can go, but the story begins. You can read the story. I think you are familiar with it, but the point is made on that particular one. Okay. So the reason why I quoted this, by the way, quote, was to support the reason why children are not continuously breastfed by our wives, because also them, they want to be equal to men. And I don't know who wrote Titus. Who wrote Titus? Paul. And Paul he did tell us, saying that the old women, and again, today's society, the old women are forgotten to teach young women. Paul said that old women should teach chastity to the young women. Chastity, how to keep their husbands, okay? And how to keep their house. and to be chaste in the house. But today, they don't teach that. There was a time where I had shifted. Then there was a woman, our landy lady. She said, "Ah, mwafana mkwatiriwa mwenda ku civic center. Apa manje kulibe kukwatira na civic center. Ifisona muzio mukazi kulibe wenda ku civic center because vikwati va ku civic center vimavuta kusiriza. You see, look at, she's an old woman. Tiwe mafuta. First mukazi ukamuzibisisa ndiye manje waona tia zankara ndiye kwenda ku civic center. That was the advice she was giving. You see? Matiwa yonzana kuuza, matiwa na kupeleka mnyumba. Simbo. Suma enda fast kwenda ku civic center. Today, even in the church, okay, let us take a poll in the Seventh-day Adventist church. How many old women are teaching young women to be chaste and to keep their house, to be housekeepers? There's none. Okay, but that is the work of the old women, according to Titus. Okay. So in short, this lesson was supposed to be taught by the old women, because they've passed through that, and the young women, they were to adhere because they have experience. That one is recorded in Titus chapter what? Because others, they will think as if I'm just, it is recorded in Titus chapter 1. It says, turn to be keepers at home. Is it Titus chapter 3 or chapter 2? You've seen it? Just fetch it. It says, keepers at home. It properly.
Titus 2 verse 5.
Okay. Same here. Okay, Titus chapter 2 verse 3, it says, the aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becoming holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home. You see what is saying? Not wakota mukunga kuma moba wambole na bantu chani. You know, they should teach young women to love their husband, okay, to be chaste, to be keepers at home, going down. That's what that quote is saying. That is Titus chapter 2, beginning from verse 3. Okay, going down. So we begin the lesson. It says, so now we're looking at counsel in breastfeeding. Counsel, that is Adventist Home, page 260, paragraph 1 and 2. It says, the best food for the infant is the food that nature provides. The best food for the infant is the food that nature provides. Of this, it should not be needlessly deprived. Needlessly deprived. It is a heartless thing for a mother, for the sake of convenience or social enjoyment, to seek to free herself from the tender office of nursing her little one. The period in which the infant receives its nourishment from the mother is critical. Many mothers, while nursing their infants, have been permitted to overlabor and to heat their blood in cooking, and the nursling has been seriously affected, not only with fevered nourishment from the mother's breasts, but its blood has been poisoned by the unhealthy diet of the mother, which has fevered her whole system, thereby affecting the food of the infant. The infant will also be affected by the condition of the mother's mind. If she is unhappy, easily agitated, irritable, giving vent to outbursts of passion, the nourishment the infant receives from its mother will be inflamed, often producing colic, spasms, and in some instances causes convulsions and fits. So this quote is loaded. It is discussing, saying, the mother should not deprive the child, okay, to breastfeed. She should be, because of, for the sake of work, social enjoyment, she should not do that. It is heartless to do such a thing. Then in this same paragraph, it is discussing the heat also. If she's cooking, then she exposes herself, her breasts, to the heat. The heat will cook the breast milk and it will affect the child. And also it is discussing the emotions of the mother. She's tired, the emotions she undergoes, okay. That also will affect the child. It can contribute to conditions like convulsions or fits. It can contribute to conditions such as colic, magases, okay, spasms, and other conditions to the child. That's what this is discussing. There are others that do not understand. Let us go to Adventist home. The one that discusses, where's my, you can go there. Oh, okay. You can. Well, the one in Adventist home, remember Adventist home, the one that discusses the husband and the queen mother. Then it discusses the role of the woman in the house. It says the woman is to Christianize the children and the husband. That is the role of a woman. Okay. Most of the people, they think as if a man is to Christianize the woman. That is not true. That is not the responsibility of the man. According to council's perspective, he says the man is a field worker. He is going to Christianize the field, but the one to Christianize the man is the woman. Okay. Then it now discusses the responsibilities. It says a man is from work. He thinks that he is the one that is earning or is doing much work than the woman. Imagine you've married a woman that does not work. You think that she doesn't work, okay? In short, she's a housekeeper. Then you come from work. Then you think that, okay, she hasn't prepared food. Then you base your anger on her. No, you haven't prepared anything, but you forget that that woman, she was taking care of the child. She was washing. Okay. So Ellen White brings that to perspective, and she involves the angels, how the angels view such a scenario. I don't know. You remember that discussion in the Adventist home? Do you remember it? Okay, just go a woman to Christianize the what? Just type it. It says, a woman to Christianize the home. I think that will. Okay. So in that discussion, counsel tells you saying the woman actually does more than the husband, because she takes care of the children, she gives food to the children, gives food to you, she takes care of the house, she does the chores. Okay. So the work she does is much more than the work that you are doing. That's what. So if angels were to view that, because those recording angels, they were to view that, and if you are to see what they are recording, you would see that the woman does more work than the man. That's what she. You are already in Adventist. Okay. Okay. Read this one.
Okay. Adventist Home, page 235, paragraph 2. It says, the mother is God's agent to Christianize her family. She is to exemplify biblical religion, showing how its influence is to control us in its everyday duties and pleasures, teaching her children that by grace alone can they be saved through faith, which is the gift of God. This constant teaching as to what Christ is to us and to them, his love, his goodness, his mercy, revealed in the great plan of redemption, will make a hallowed, sacred impression on the heart. End of quote.
Okay. So there's another one, the one that he talks about the labor now. Okay. This one.
Okay. This is the Adventist Home, page 232, paragraph 3. Under the subtitle saying, a graphic comparison of values. The mother seldom appreciates her own work and frequently sets so low an estimate upon her labor that she regards it as domestic drudgery. She goes through the same round day after day, week after week, with no special marked results. She cannot tell at the close of the day the many little things she has accomplished. Placed beside her husband's achievement, she feels that she has done nothing worth mentioning. Okay, going over into the next paragraph. The father frequently comes in with a self-satisfied air and proudly recounts what he has accomplished through the day. His remarks show that now he must be waited upon by the mother, for she has not done much except take care of the children, cook the meals, and keep the house in order. She has not acted the merchant, bought nor sold. She has not acted the farmer in tilling the soil. She has not acted the mechanic. Therefore, she has done nothing to make her weary. He criticizes and censures and dictates as though he was the Lord of creation. And this is all the more trying to the wife and mother, because she has become very weary at her post of duty during the day, and yet she cannot see what, and yet She cannot see what she has done and is really disheartened. Okay, the next paragraph says, could the veil be withdrawn and the father and mother see as God sees the work of the day and see how his infinite eye compares the work of the one with that of the other, they would be astonished at the heavenly liberation. The father would view his labors in a more modest light, while the mother would have new courage and energy to pursue her labor with wisdom, perseverance, and patience. Now, she knows its true value. While the father has been dealing with the things which must perish and pass away, the mother has been dealing with developing minds and character, working not only for time, but for eternity.
Within that quote, it is discussing. So, as we are discussing this, we see that the mother, because of social enjoyment, or because she wants okay to earn a living, or maybe because of the temptation, saying she thinks that she's not doing enough, or the husband is not appreciating her. What happens? Maybe she's tempted to maybe look for work, okay, and also her to abandon the child. Sometimes the reasons to why she would do such a thing is because maybe the husband is not appreciating her, or others says maybe she doesn't get what she wants, or you're not providing enough. Right? Okay, then she would be tempted to do that. But according to this quote, it is still telling you, saying that the work she does is more important than the work of the what? Of the man, because her, she is the modeling character, okay, and the mind. That work is, it should last it for eternity. It is the one that is going to determine the future of the children, whether damnation or what? Eternal life. That's what that quote is saying. So then now imagine that now she abandons that. Who is going to take care of your children? Okay. What will be the future of your children? Then the same quote again, it brings another one. It brings saying, okay, she accepts her role, but are you going to appreciate her? The same quote, okay? Is she going to have the low self-esteem because of your attitude? So us, we have the role to play, and also them, we have a role to play. That is according to that quote, also marrying it with this Adventist on page 216. Any contributions on this one?
Yeah, maybe that's a small one. We see indeed that the world is upside down as it is today, because we have tolerated our wives to forget the most important role in the family, that of child character building, development, and whatnot. In that, most of us now, we have turned to materialistic. Even the woman is admiring that a man is a man because of what he brings or where he works, okay, as opposed to the role that God has given us. So the spiritual values that are placed in a home through the woman are lost. Like you are looking at breastfeeding, you find that at least the first 6 months, a child should be exclusively breastfed. No porridge, no any other. When we talk of exclusive breastfeeding, we mean just breast milk. That is what should be able to help the child. But because the mother now thinks that she's only given maybe 2 months, she would get maybe a leave for those 3 months, have 1 month when she's still yet expecting the child, and just be home maybe for the other 2 months. Then the fourth month, she should be back at work, meaning she only have 2 months in which to breastfeed the child properly. Then the other 4 months that she's supposed to be breastfeeding the child exclusively, like you were saying, she would either buy cow milk or goat milk or get any other things. And added to that, for as long as they see that the child is able to do something, they start to call these formulas. They bring Cerelac and whatever. You've seen those that now even the world has jumped on the market where they say, okay, a month old, 2 months old. And we feel like they are helping us, when in actual sense, they are making our babies to even receive more proteins that they don't need. I think this is even part of the broadcast that we are having on the protein myth, where we are told to say we should eat a lot of milk in order for us to have the calcium. And known to us that the more we take these things that with fewer calcium, they make our bones to lose more calcium to do the balancing of the thing. But when you look at the human milk, it is readily available to help the child develop within 6 months to develop properly. But when you introduce cow's milk is meant to develop the young animal quickly. I'm sure you have observed that a cow can give birth like in the morning. By evening or the following day, the small thing will start walking. But a human being will never do that because the percentage of proteins in the human milk are such that they help the child to develop slowly. And most of us, we have observed why our children in town cannot be compared to those of the village. A child that is in town will look bigger because of the supplements and the things that we give to these children. But the one who is born in a village, because they will depend on the milk for the first 6 months, by the time the mother will introduce that porridge, the child will be ready for porridge. Unlike in town where you even have, like I mentioned, something is already made 1 month. You think that they are helping you to grow, and they would say the child will grow health. Unknown to us that is where the distraction, the loss of true morals happen, because now the body becomes craving, isn't it? Instead of growing naturally. So basically, we're seeing that if we take these studies and present them to our wives, and that these our women understand and know that whilst they remain at home, they need to be appreciated because that is the greatest work that they'll be able to do. For us, we will fetch for food and bring home, but that helps them to grow physically. But the spiritual health, when we are the priests of the home, we live the principles, we teach the children. Even as we go out, we come in the evening. When we set the house in order, they'll be able to know how they should be able to grow because the man will be fending as well as providing the spiritual needs and the foods at the right time. But it is the mother's duty, as we have seen, because she remains with the children for a longer period to continue that important work. But the rate at which that work is being neglected is alarming. And so the development, sad to say, it is junkies everywhere, in church and in the world. We both have junkies. Thank you.
Yeah. Any more contributions? Amwale. Okay. Sister Olivia. Breastfeeding. Last time you're not there. Oh, okay. I don't know how far, because breastfeeding we began. This is the how many the third week or second week. Okay. Okay.
So your question is in relation to breastfeeding?
She wanted to contribute.
You can.
I'm through, Sister Olivia.
Okay, I'm just going to, it's not in the quotations. Yes, just something that I've browsed. So we are seeing that actually, yes, breastfeeding is very important because it also creates a relationship between the mother and the child. And we are seeing also the reason why breastfeeding is very important because of the nutrients and the antibodies that help to support the baby's health. And so from what is here outlined is that at the first, the body will make an early milk, and this is called the colostrum. So I think maybe we just, should I continue?
Oh, I know you're making the summary of what we did, yeah? So it's okay, you can continue because there are people that were not there. Okay, so it's okay.
Okay, so this colostrum, this is the protein-rich thick liquid. It's full of antibodies that help guard the newborn baby against infections. This very colostrum will change into mature milk after 3 to 5 days of breastfeeding. During this time, your baby will lose a bit of weight. This is normal. They'll regain it once your milk comes in. So now also we find that in a situation like I was also thinking when I was reading through this, we are having mothers that maybe they are got HIV as upon having the pregnancy, and then they give birth. And so we find that that child will not be introduced to the milk of the the mother, but they will use other means that the healthcare will provide. And so we find that actually the baby again will be in deficiency because they will not get the healthy milk from the baby as it's supposed to be. And then we're also taught to say that breastfeeding has many benefits, both for the baby and for the mother. And this includes the lower risking of postpartum depression and building the baby's immune system. So if only maybe we can come up from this ignorance, because normally we don't understand why we should breastfeed. It's like, it's just one of those things, like just born with it, it's part of life. But if we can have such knowledge to say that actually by breastfeeding, you lower the risk of postpartum depression, and also that you help the baby the baby's immune system. And then also that you can breastfeed from up to 2 years and above. Yeah, it's okay, you can still breastfeed. And also I thought to say that what matters most is that your baby has the nutrients they need to grow and develop. And these nutrients, they'll come from the mother's milk. The baby's suckling stimulates nerves that tell your body to release certain hormones, prolactin and oxytocin. Prolactin tells your halovori, tiny sacs in your breast, to make milk. And then oxytocin triggers the release of milk let down into your milk ducts and out through your nipple. So this is what I wanted to contribute on breastfeeding, and realizing and knowing that it's not just about breastfeeding, the baby is born and then it starts, but there are many other health benefits that goes with it.
Okay. I hope you benefited from that. Because we looked at all these. I think you remember Brother Daniel, huh? Okay. So any questions pertaining to this contribution? Okay. Okay. So from this contribution, we've learned saying that the first 3 days of breastfeeding is very important because of colostrum and the bonding of the child to the mother. Also, we've learned saying that the hormone that helps in producing breast milk is prolactin, and the happy hormone called oxytocin is also vital in this. Okay, so during this, to help the mother be stimulated with the breasts to produce milk, she should be happy, and also she should have this hormone called prolactin. Okay, that's what we learned from this contribution.
Yeah, maybe just an addition also. We also learned, to add to what Sister Olivia has brought, that when mothers are breastfeeding, it is our duty as husbands to make sure that we don't upset them. Because once they are upset, the ripple effects go to the child. So instead of the child benefiting from the milk, she'll be getting poisons. Okay? So that is very important. You have seen that other people say, and that is where they pick up some of those bad temperaments. Yeah, it's very important that we help them this happy hormone always, because it will trigger the health of the baby. That is what we discussed. Thank you. I just as a reminder, just it from the quote. Thank you.
Okay. So we continue. Yes, yes.
Okay. Just a moment.
Please record it.
abo ddala bakulamula ekifaananyi nga kyakweba ndi banyina bali abalemwokyera oli omwana amabeere taleefuma sana yaleeba ayakushukwako omwana kutalimbi bali something nabakwattalimbi kulaba bambi balakwata kwekirota nomba kuntu abafirisha mu musango nkya abaana bakula.
Okay, so Brother Kunda's question is that for those women that have challenges with producing milk, or those that have maybe sores on the nipples, how could we help them?
Okay, so last time we discussed this. So those who have issues to do with breast milk, they have low prolactin. So we're looking at from the holistic approach. Holistic approach, we learn saying we give traditionally, they make vija. They are very rich in prolactin. When you check the others that uses it for also family planning. Okay, so they make munkoyo, okay, and they give the mother. Sometimes there's an adjuvant that I recently learned. Adjuvant means it helps to produce to make prolactin work faster. That is black pepper as well. So use also black pepper tea. A person can take black pepper. Okay, so there are things that you can use. Let me mention them in a nutshell. I don't know what it is called in English. Number 2, black pepper. Number 3, fenugreek. Okay. 4, alfalfa. Okay. Hello? Okay, and black tea. She's calling it's also black tea. Alfalfa, what did I mention? Fenugreek, fennel. Okay, and fennel. Fennel also. Fennel is very good. So these things, they help. Okay. Help in production of milk. So we should not That's the reason when we're learning this, those people that were there, when we began pregnancy, it's very important when there's what you call, there's a man, on a man, we learn what you call sperm cultivation and conservation. Sperm cultivation and conservation is that as you are aging, sperm, the quality of sperm begins to reduce. You understand? Okay? So you begin to cultivate and conserve. So the particular food that you have to be eating, okay? The food, or the herbs like ashwagandha, the exotic ones like bazooka. Bazooka is sorry, is not exotic, it's local. Okay? But according to kwamene mchokera kupo sana, kuli abo kapena ndi mwako kuchipata kuli vubwe aini, then kapena general chabe kuli bazooka, chibazuka chimtengo so choterera so kachiona kamosheta chimveka fulani jani muziba. Okay, there are those that you are building up, and it takes 3 days for sperm to be built. Okay, liquefying time of sperm, it takes 3 days. So meaning those people that were taught bad, saying you have to do sex every day, they cannot have quality sperm. And you have to do zinc. We learned all that. And again, a woman, she should eat healthy food. If she doesn't have, she should, and if her hormones are not balanced, she has to be taking fenugreek, shatavari, makole. Okay, now those things, they're very good for you are preparing. Just like, for instance, if you want to prepare the ground, you check the quality of soil. You prepare the ground. Okay. So once you prepare the ground, and again, if the quality of soil is there, the ground cannot appreciate unless you break it. It cannot appreciate or absorb water properly unless you break it. And the microbes that are there. So just likewise, you have to also to prepare. So if the hormones are sufficient, are enough, balanced, enough pregnancy, meaning you should have enough prolactin, because prolactin is among the hormones that help in production of milk. That's the reason kukala na mimba late, it affects the child. I think you've heard that. Because as you are aging, the hormones, they tend not to be balanced, and the eggs, they reduce of a female. Okay, so all those, they have to be put in perspective when you are tulonda, it depends. There because there are others tulonda tumachoka through like thrush. There's one ankara na thrush, then foot kwa nashita chani komena anyonga foot kuli thrush. So kuli traditional holistically, there is medicine like wamatenga soti ya chipala, like vamukwesha, or they can mix it with the what is that called, tuntura powder, you know, tuntura powder. Mtuntura powder is called what in English? But here, when mtuntura powder, it looks like, in English, I've forgotten the name. It's called what? It looks like impwa. Because this mtuntura powder, it also works for kafeloni, katulutulu, it works for toothache. It's antimicrobial. It kills any bad, like what causes thrush is fungal. So it's antifungal as well. So mukaikako kuja then mwana mwaisi sakanjana tusote so mwamukwesha mumukwesha nao kumuikako kuja kwa tutatulonda kuja zera patusira, because you don't sumufunika you neglect, like mwista concentrate kuli mwana, then you kumwista neglect, meaning there will be reinfection to zambo pole. Okay, but that is from the holistic approach. Also, the conventional approach they have, they'll give anti-thrush, okay, And also they'll be putting anti-thrush on the nipples, depending conditions. There are different conditions, like conditions that like, I don't know if you call breast cancer. Breast cancer meaning the child can't breastfeed from there. So there are others that would go deeper in discussing that. But I've just picked to discuss thrush. That is a common one. Ijayochoka white mkamwana. Then ukwambochoka flu tumachan. Ma rash so kumachan. Ma nipples. Okay. I hope I've answered your question.
Even in addition to just what you had said, fear. Sorry.
Ipita pali muntunturwa olia. Because when I'm working back to the poison. So limbi mwana limbi amina tudu. Ungate bwanji prevent.
Okay, mtuntura is not, I think we've been using mtuntura. So others they say it's poison. So you do is basically it's the dosage. To do the dosage, because mtuntura, the one that you're doing with mwana, you mix with the salt. Okay, but if those that are late, they think it's poison, they can just use kumwana, they can just use what you call salt. Just the actual salt. It works against thrush. Okay. Turmeric also is antifungal. They can use turmeric. It works against thrush. Okay, but you can't use neem because neem is very concentrated to a child. You can't use that one. Okay. Garlic depends how old the child is. So turmeric and the salt, these are the safe depending how old the child is. Okay, whether a child is 0 month, it doesn't have any harm, doesn't have any side effect. Salt and turmeric. But garlic can have side effects when the child is young. But mtuntura to the breast, to the nipples, doesn't have any effect on the external part. Okay, to those that are cautious, says it's poisonous. Okay, but we've been using that. It doesn't cause any harm. Okay, especially when it is mixed with salt and the small dose. Okay.
Yeah. My contribution was maybe to his part of saying maybe milk is not coming out. We also learned that there is sometimes a delay for milk to start coming out of about 3 to 4 days. So many people get worried that the child cannot die in those 3 days because we saw that placenta yaputu. That is where we either help the child or destroy the child. Because in the placenta, remember, a connection, if you are ready, so when they come out with that placenta, the way we treat it, because we saw at least there are 2 ways that we can help the child gain those things. Yes. So we see that are connected, then the child would have gotten all the nutrients from the placenta that will sustain him for 3 to 4 days without dying from hunger. And then the breast, we are told to say, if you have to understand that hormones, they're quite agitated, and then to start produce, sometimes they can take up to 3 to 4 days. So in that period, the child cannot be affected. But because that the more sucking after fini, whether milk it helps the nipples it stimulates hormones because there's something that wants to effort.
Yeah. So I hope it suffices. You're satisfied? Okay. 260 paragraph 3 of Adventist home, it says the character also of the child is more or less affected by the nature of the nourishment received from the mother. How important then that the mother, while nursing her, should preserve a happy state of mind, having the perfect control of our own spirit. By thus doing, the food of the child is not yet injured. Sorry, is not injured. And the calm, self-possessed course the mother pursues in the treatment of her child has very much to do in molding the mind of the infant. If it is nervous and easily agitated, the mother's careful and hurried manner will have a soothing and correcting influence. And the health of the infant can be very much improved. Food is not a substitute for attention. Infants have been greatly abused by improper treatment. If fretful, they have generally been fed to keep them quiet, when in most cases, the very reason of their fretfulness was because of their having received too much food, made injurious by the wrong habits of the mother. More food only made the matter worse, for their stomachs were already overloaded. Okay.
Yeah, this one is very serious. Because most often, at umwana fyengalira, what do we rush to do? Mubeke kuibere. You know, at the child, maybe what the child wants is just attention. Mwandeka neka. They cry or do this. If we fast, leave it. And so we have been destroying our children. Actually, we went deeper, isn't it, Keagan? What we are taught to say, this is where we find that the child now begin to grow with those evil tendencies. They cry for those things. We forget that it is us who are inculcating those bad principles in that child. Whenever the child was fretful or crying, you just say, give him. So that is why inspiration now is telling us that we have done more injury to the body because the baby, the stomach is small. So meaning mothers should know to say, as your baby is breastfeeding, you should take interest to know, is the stomach full? You stop. If the baby cries, you just play with the baby, you see that the baby sleeps. But most of us, we feel like it is time to feed. So what do you call to gluten? So those are some of the evil effects that we produce on our children. Thank you.
261, paragraph 2 and paragraph 3 of Adventist Home. It says, children are generally brought up from the cradle to indulge the appetite. Okay, this is the point that he stressed, saying children, they are generally brought up from the cradle to become what? To indulge the appetite and are taught that they live to eat. Children. The mother does much toward the formation of the character of her children in their childhood. She can teach them to control the appetite, or she can teach them to indulge the appetite and become gluttons. The mother often arranges her plans to accomplish a certain amount through the day. And when the children trouble her, instead of taking time to soothe their little sorrows and divert them, something is given them to eat to keep them quiet, to keep them still, which answers their purpose for a short time, but eventually makes things worse. The children's stomachs have been pressed with food when they had not the least want of it. All that was required was a little of the mother's time and attention. But she regarded her time as altogether too precious to devote to the amusement of her children. Perhaps the arrangement of her house in a tasteful manner for visitors to praise, and to have her food cooked in a fashionable style, are with her higher considerations than the happiness and health of her children. Okay. So you've seen this quote. But the way we are taught saying that if it's happening cancel, whether you can receive it, you can accept it or not. But you see, these are the laws. Remember the prayer thought says the laws of the physical laws. If you defy the physical laws, you violate the physical laws, you are against your life. That's what it means. Okay. You say, okay, I can decide to reject this law, but you are defiling or sinning against your soul, your life. How to live, 144. It says, it ever has appeared to me to be called heartless business for mothers who can nurse their children to turn them from the maternal breast to the bottle. So here she says it's heartless to turn the child from the breast to the bottle. But in case that is necessary, the greatest care must be exercised to have the milk from a healthy cow. Healthy cow. Okay, so meaning it's not those that we buy from. You have to have a healthy cow. And to have the bottle as well as the milk. And to have two. The bottle and the milk. Perfectly sweet. Okay, this is frequently neglected, and as the result, the infant is made to suffer needlessly. Disturbances of the stomach and bowels are liable to occur, and the much to be pitied infant becomes diseased if it were healthy when born. This usually happens. So cancer is not saying, okay, there are situations when a child we can we can introduce cow's milk, but from the health cow. Okay, when it is necessary. That's what this quote is saying. Because the others will say, no, we learned that no cow's milk. No, that's not what council is saying. Okay. How to live 145, paragraph 1. It says, mothers sometimes depend upon a hireling. A stranger performs the duties of the mother and gives from her breast the food to sustain life. This happens. No, is this all? She also imparts her temper and her temperament to the nursing child. So you see, also we're learning, say, also this cannot be so. There's what you call, they sell breast milk from a human being also likewise. Also, we can also learn if we, what do you call, we can also learn also the animals, they have temperaments, So likewise, we can give emotions of or temperaments of a cow to the child. That's what we're learning from him. This is 145, paragraph 1. How to live. Are you there? 145. Yes, performs the duties. HL performs the duties of the mother. Yes, HL.
Oh, even I thought you said, oh, no wonder that it was not coming. We are still in Adventist home.
Oh? Or in Adventist home?
Yes. So you said the AH. So,
oh,
yeah.
I've been saying HL, what? Or how to live. I didn't say how to live.
No.
I mentioned. That is a book. You've forgotten the earliest book of Ellen White, How to Live.
No.
Oh, the title. Okay. I said How to Live 145. Okay. Okay. It's the same, huh?
Yeah, I say mothers sometimes depend on her.
Okay. Okay, she also imparts, let me reread, says, mothers sometimes depend upon a hireling. A stranger performs the duties of the mother and gives from her breast the food to sustain life. Nor is this all. She also imparts her temper and her temperament to the nursing child. The child's life is linked to hers. If the hireling is a coerce type of woman, passionate and unreasonable, if she is not careful in her morals, the nursling will be in all probability, okay, of the same or similar type. The same quality of blood coursing in the veins of the hireling nurse is in that of the child.
Okay.
But so this quote is very deep. It can also make you understand also blood transfusion. You know, blood transfusion also does but this is not to say that blood transfusion, everyone says it saves lives, but also spiritual contribution. It can also affect the spiritual, okay, of a person. You understand? Like you're imparting the temperament, you're getting the temperament of someone. For instance, if I was evil, I give you blood transfusion. You know that the blood is not liquid. Is what? Is a tissue. Tissue is a group of cells. In the cells, there is what? The DNA. Okay. So we know also in milk, it's not liquid. There's blood in there. There are cells. That's the reason it says they are imparting the temperaments, the mind, the character. The blood of this person is also in the child. This was what? Okay, paragraph 2 of the same, how to live, says children are also fed too frequently, which produces feverishness and suffering in various ways. The stomach should not be kept constantly at work, but should have its periods of rest. Without it, children will be peevish and irritable and frequently sick.
You see, now we see the evils that are done to these infants, beloved. Many a time, these are common diseases. Now God is helping us to understand. We are learning from cause to effect. And many a time, even the child is trying to show you that you know, my stomach is full. But if we think, 2 hours, you see, God is telling us that now we are beginning to understand. To say, oh, kashi abana echo bakwatire emibiri kumfu emibiri kukaba kulisha. When we come, you see, beloved, we shouldn't even now start right. We even now rush them to the hospital. Are you seeing? So it's like we are seeing that we are the major problems. We should now begin to ask, as we are learning these things since before medical missionary, so ngawafika, not wafika, oh, nishi, moving now cover, pere ni tembusha, oh, pere ni shani. No, first you pusha. Oh, achonka constance. Ah, kale ambiri okonka, maisha to, urufu mwana na Luisu. Nali aside. You see? So at least we thank God for this wisdom that He's giving us. What? Umwana afile akwateshita. The child must have periods of rest. Ngalira tekwatalefu aebere. Musunsuntireni shimukena alala. But if what do we do? And you see, I don't know, Brother Keagan, if there's a way of knowing how much quantity of the milk should fill the tummy of the body of the baby and for how long. Because we see that at least those that have taken time to check, at least 2 months, asunda 3-4 times. It shows at least the liquids are done what? So by the time I asunda 3 or 4 times, it means at least stomach now properly, then you can breastfeed. So it's not every cry that the baby is calling for food. But it may be asking for attention, for bonding. Yeah, so at least now we understand that it's not every high temperature, fever, mwabukinga na yangu, hospital, kanshi, umwana na ipitisha mwantu wakaleso. So these are things that we are learning. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it says poisonous medicines. This is the same book, How to Live 202, paragraph 5. It says, okay, so it links with the quote, with the point is left. Says poisonous medicines or something called a soothing cardio is poured down the throat of the abused infant. So the child is, because of the habit lifestyle, when you take the child to the hospital, then they give the poisonous drug or soothing cardio or a nevine. If it recovers, it must bear upon more or less its system the effects of the poisonous drug. When the child recovers, but yet maybe the system was stronger, but it has to bear the effects of the poisonous drug. And it is liable to spasms, heart disease, dropsy of the brain, or consumption. Some infants are not strong enough to bear even a trifle of drug poisons. See, there are infants that cannot tolerate even kangono, drug poison. They can't, they will go. And as nature rallies to meet the intruder, the vital forces of the tender infant are too severely taxed and death ends the scene. Okay. 202 paragraph 5. And today, we learned saying if you have drugs, and actually today is a tendency, audience mwana kadwala ni drugs, actually tinda na pharmacist, pharmacist watista basi mkala waso. Today, that's what is happening. And this is the third killer, leading cause of death. Is Vamene Vitichita. Nezeri mubasi yesterday, konzeri bena angwati, munkwala wo clean blood, mkagule aspirin, 75. Aspirin 75. The most dangerous drug, the one that causes what you call internal bleeding. It's a blood thinner. Them they say it's a blood cleanser. Muntu is not sick, doesn't even have hypertension, doesn't even have stroke. At mukagule aspirin 75. Blood designed to kill none. Blood. And also children likewise, it's the same. Okay.
So, like we have observed, beloved, the big pharma, what is doing, you have one problem, they will give you medicine that you create several more, so that you are from this drug to the other, and then they are milking you slowly but surely. Like here we have seen that this child that has a fever, instead of us sitting down, because there are many ways that we have learned that we can be able to help. First, you put a what? A cloth. Huh? If the head is the one that is feeling more hot with it, you try. If the heat is not reducing, you are able to observe the pattern of the breathing of the child and everything else. You can tell that you like t-shirt here or something like that. Then you will find that suddenly temperature well. But unfortunately, what do? If we give the child too much milk, then now we take the child to the hospital. Nobody to what? Yari drugs we even say, if this drug has worked, the temperature has reduced. And known to us that kalaka mwana to akapere nchitono liver as young as it is, yambe nombo kuombera wapakuchita ama okuombera pama drugs. You see? And look, today if you were to visit the hospital, how many babies are there that you see that they are busy being injected this, that, and the other? Others are even forced to swallow my pills, crush them. We can move a kakota, what? And we don't know that if by the time he's 10, why? We started wrongly. Tuamulisha obubi. Instead tumulolere omwana atuche olufumo lweka lufumye ya excess. Tuamutwala futi kuchipatala. Wale bamona wile liver foot. Are you seeing what we are doing? And everyone, you see, Brother Keagan, there was a time I was telling people that when I was in UTH, I stayed 2 weeks in UTH. I was never given any medicine. I was just told to start drinking water in a normal range. You remember? And I recovered. So when I was telling people that, no, me, I've never been given medicine. Then I bet it's patara. So people associate ukubomba kwa chipatara with more drugs. So when the doctor sees that uyu muntu tiapola bakangala fe mind ni drip fye bakwati omumwe ne drip natura samono muti but kanshi kana visual what mentality yobe it is bambere kofi omuti then bakwati natura samo. I remember the other one was telling that mukazanga twakabola chibala samu kanyeta to afunanga kato test diagram this drip kudana chani na munkwala. When in actual sense the doctor knows that this guy is just dehydrated, so all they do is they give you water, you drink, then that's what they will just tell you, so that because they know that this water that passes through the drip, yes, it is good because it goes directly into the bloodstream, but it is bad for the human body because it doesn't help the inner cells, like irritated bypass. If the stomach is bypassed, it is good. That's why I'm saying that when somebody is given a drip, quickly you rise up because your cells who have been injected with life. But remember that dehydration is still there through the alimentary canal. So there's no absorption that is happening normally. But the bloodstream has benefited. No wonder I'm saying that but I'm a drip now. The more they give you drip, at too much water, but your body still is what? Is first. It is because that one is a bypass. And if you have a bypass, bypass it. So that is basically also what happens with these drips and everything else. So please, those of us now that will be these are part of the lessons that we should be telling our young boys. Say, oh, be a man that should be observant. Not every temperature, rise in temperature of a baby cause for dragging. Because that drag, you don't know if there's anything that is very difficult to tell is the function of the heart. How strong it is, the liver, the kidney. Suppose umwana afyere na kidney bomba kuno but ile yafirisha ile isunga. Then mwamulisha over, then you see, and then umwana afwa. We are the ones who condemn Walama doctors. When actually it is us who are helping the baby to do what? To die. So I hope we are learning a lot that breastfeeding is very important, yes, but we shouldn't over breastfeed. Yeah. Let us understand the amounts that the child would need for the growth. Thank you.
Okay. The lesson it is good, right?
Now you've been ignorant.
Okay. HHTL 115 paragraph 3.
Is it in the
You don't have it.
no, maybe in the blue one. HHTL
115 paragraph 3. 3. 115 paragraph 3. You found it? You found it? Huh? HHTL Ama caps you say HLTL. Any you can do small letters or caps. This one he has found it. It says a systematic that you seen it. That is paragraph 3. Paragraph 3. It says a systematic diet should always be adopted by mothers and nurses at the very dawn of the child's existence. Okay. In the first place, after birth, a little cold water only should be put into the child's mouth. The habit of beginning to give some stimulant as though the creator of the child had given it only half-life enough is perfectly murderous. I'm right. The habit of beginning to give some stimulant as though the creator of the child had given it only half-life enough is perfectly murderous. Instead of giving it a chance to live of itself, a course is taken which is adapted to kill it. Or if not kill it, to maim the little constitution for life. If the writer of this could be heard, he would cry aloud and spare not. Okay. In the ear of every nurse with the little being in her arms, let that child live. The Creator gave it natural life. He made it to live, and it will live, if not killed. If it be necessary to give the child any nourishment before it can obtain it from the mother, it might take a little slippery elm water or something of that mild and simple nature. But if it can draw its first nourishment from the fountain which the author of its being has provided, it is better. This quote is serious, this one. Huh? So even mind your own double. What double? like what is happening. Because them they would not, they would try to force him. Hey, Chad, Bada wangeli.
Yeah, because there's something that I want to say to this effect. Because I remember my young brother had a premature child. And at UTH, collaborated with deep block. What was happening was the machine become fluids, not juice. And so they say these will sustain the child. So we see that as early as that, they begin to supplement. Where they even tell the mother, say, milk, these will help for some time. So you can see that this is what the inspiration is saying, that this is an evil. Like, listen to this first part saying, a systematic diet should always be adopted by mothers and nurses at the dawn of the child's existence. So research abikira tumwana ekyafiri okwambirirako kuno nishi mukaka nomba mesanga ti ama nurses eba leta nomba ama supplements. You see, so this one is not the systematic diet that God created. So at today afwa okufa. Yes, mukamona benga bana those that abakumala itsatsani barakula, but certain characteristics of some mu life filambo kutupapusha. Some of us we even ask shemwana wandu, because you are surprised that the tare konke fyo all it's like ulelanda kwa tulelanda weka. So the change is at what we do. Let us learn a bigger lesson here. We've never been good parents because we didn't know what God intended for our children. That is the best that God gave us. You see? So that's what I learned that. At if in the first place after birth, a little cold water could be put into the child's mouth. Chawama pomompero tunshi, utumenshi. Number in a point and then the fluid. And I don't know the content of that fluid. Because for God to say that chawama pomopero mwana ameshi, number fluids, then it means in nasi na ifofeva fiashi, we haven't followed the instructions of God. Yeah, so this shows me that we have brought more harm than good. Thank you.
Okay. Another quote. This one is the same HT.
Sorry, it's saying the habit of beginning to give some stimulant, because that is what those things are. As though the creator of the child had given it only half life enough. If you want to limbesali chef yako lekeni nomba tumpele okay glucose shani. I don't know. Anyway, we are ready. Okay, God is showing us that we have not lived well, Brother Keagan. We've never been good parents. Brother Bernard, before you marry, these things are very important, brother. Is it? Amake key, at least mlikona mwana umozi. The next you can do better.
Okay. HHTL 116 paragraph 1. The same book 116 paragraph 1. It says baby should be nursed but 3 times a day. It says this may seem a preposterous rule, but let us reason together upon it. This may seem as a preposterous rule, but let us reason together upon it. The food which nature has provided for the child is adapted to its age and capacity for digesting. And it requires about the same length of time for the infant to digest its meal as it does the man of ripe age to digest his. And the various steps in the digestive process are the same in both cases. Then if 5 hours are required to complete the process well, why disturb it till it is finished? By letting the child have only its regular breakfast, dinner and supper, it digests its food well and is well nourished by it, but adopt the course usually taken, and the little one's stomach is kept confused and oppressed, and its system is but half nourished from the same quantity of food which would be requisite under a regular system. As infants are usually treated, they are subject to repeated vomiting, colic, and not infrequently fits. Okay, and the cause is obvious. The stomach has been overloaded. Only feed infants right, and there is no reason why they should vomit any more than grown persons. What danger can there be of a child suffering from want of food before the expiration of 5 hours between meals, when they not unfrequently go from 12 to 24 hours and sometimes longer after birth before they take any substantial nourishment? The idea that a child would suffer hunger if it does not take food oftener than once in 5 hours during the day is all nonsense, and worse than this, great injury is done by such a notion. The little and often system is destructive, contrary to the laws of health, and contrary to the true philosophy and reason, and should forever be abandoned. Okay, this quote ndima yomangena mumanje basi family mwana simudi sabu ino ade oyagaliza ili quote ikuzala di nonsense your reasoning, because one or mwana through izo dila na placenta mwanzo mudia sabati, if you eat 3 times a day izo kudia 3 times a day manja mkakamadoke mwana tikazipita hapo 5 to 6 hours kumumwe samioki mukambati musovera mzapa ya mwana. Mwana makote. These quotes are showing that we are not even yet Christians. We haven't yet reached there. Timazina. Boss gambo yako nkaona niyo vuta niyo limba. Mwana mwana. Yeah.
No, I know we are all listening, but it is touching me a lot because you see, when you are a culprit that you have never practiced these things, and then you are seeing some traits of character in your own children, now you are questioning yourself to say, oh, so it's not the problem of the child. The biggest problem was me, my ignorance. Yes, because you see, when God is saying that a child should be given food at least 5 hours after breastfeeding, how many babies do we see everywhere? You know, when you talk of 5 hours, that's why it's saying it is preposterous. You understand? We're saying that a child, once you breastfeed him now, anyonke akute, then all this time, at least 4 to 5 hours, ndiye famisa kampangana mwana lo akakule azanga naija mentality walati akwanisa kudya normal such a load stomach. Manje ife machita bwanyi ndife na kusukulu timpelekera mwana adya breakfast kwenda kusukulu, apa proper break, apa chani, and we feel like we love our children, beloved, when actually we are training them to be what? Gluttons. But then ngakulu mwana lyafye tomo ichi katubi chante mokulia. But who made that child a katubi? You see, now your own problems wambo kufuiko umwana naye nakafyaba nakafyara bakatubi, so mukatubi opo tuafika hapa. Nirebu ya kwa tiresa, so nalianda tiao, tuwaliona wa. So, now we need to help each other win. We should start, because you see, if we begin with the children that are well trained and controlled from the appetite. Remember nalesa, what tumfwe chichishinka tuleo mkwechi. Awa nenso wawengi wali kumachechi. Why do you think to the ifyaba known? Kwe wali fwaisha. Because awa nenso wale mwana mo sense. Trafi neba wale mwaka chitishe win. Nomba mkufuaisha. God now is telling us that you start from there. Nomba, okay, imagine already nkuberenga kama buku wala mitama shina yengi. Nomba wati mambo kula that umwana onke umukumu. Papite 5 hours. Wagalanda tu aba batata bokubayo. Bambo kupena nomba. Ero baba fieshivu. Vena tabaliefi. Then nomba bambo kuforcinga na banani. Abana. Now imagine we have problems just to help our children become vegetarians. But if we have problems, how much more we so nati? If you are moisha, umulolere omwana olwala abuka chawa mapomu toneshe fyo tumeshi pesa palulim. Alanda tilekeni fetch fume. That's it. Me, if there's a greatest sin here about my andabani, valolera ofume. And the nature na watu wa tisto yesu vuko ya mukufwa. Ama kwete responsibility. If you wali later, nomba ngawa na iko mwana, then we some kweba. Umwana we. So God is saying that if you are for today pera abana, atifika bafa. Look, I says the food which nature has provided for the child is adapted to its age and capacity for digestion. And it requires about the same length of time for the infant to digest its meal as it does the man of ripe age to digest his. So umwana ngaonka, ila ine vyuki ngaonka. Trafine ngangfine na mfwensa after 4 hours. No mwana nishi, chimochi. So nishi means uli umwana, that kanshi ayama lwele aenge otule mwana kubana. Wututu kwesu. Negligence, overloading the stomach. Then twayamu bikira kunomba bayamu bamona wira bapwapwa naomba kuchipatala na manani nemiti. Then tuambo kutanda lele mwana wanditapola tashitashani. You see, now we are learning the importance of having God as our guide. Anyway, wachinje watindande pwana landa kwa Keagan. I think we are learning.
The same book 117 paragraph 1. It says, as infants are now treated, they have but a small chance for life. By confusing and fretting their stomachs, they have wind and colic. HHTL. Okay, we're on 117 paragraph 1. We're from reading 116 paragraph 1. Hello? Says in full. You can check it up.
In full, what it means? Oh, okay.
Just go up. Yes. Health or how to live.
Health or how to live. Health or how to live. That is the name of the book. Health.
There's no why last.
Health, comma, or comma, how to live. That is the title of this book. Ellen White. Oh, it's in the new books. Let's go. I may lie if I say it's Ellen White. Okay. Okay, well, I'll check it. Okay, this one then is this book. It's here. So I'll go this one. Going to something else. Okay.
Okay.
I'll check it.
Ellen White. Okay. Where was I? Have you found it? Have you managed to find it? HHTL.
You follow? Okay. James White. Okay.
Because James White, they wrote together with their husband that on how to live. Do you have how to live in your what? Or they put it with James? Uh, uh, okay. Okay. Says, as infants are now treated, they have but a small chance for life. By confusing and fretting their stomachs, they have wind and colic, and heartburn, and other distress. Then if they cry, they put to the breast and nest so full that they cannot cry. They become so oppressed as to produce stupefaction of brain and nerves. And then, if at all restless, they are put into the cradle and rocked from side to side till they have no sense left. Then the child, from extreme pressure of the stomach, vomits nature's kind effort to save it from fits and death. Then the mother or nurse exclaims, "What a healthy child! See how it vomits."
You see, ndeseka, because this is what happens, that mwana ngati saluka nichisaku safuta atisaza kaina bwenda ati mwana nga aleruka esaini yako ati chikaba chimwana chaina. Now, especially that then the mother nurse exclaims, "What a healthy child! See how it vomits." Then apparently, this the extreme pressure. You will learn that muna muisulo mutamifai kwa mkaza na umu. Imamu leta ya echimwani chileruka. I may have heard these things. Tola ngata ata umwana ojaluka to we take ni umwana afira leruka. Wow.
Okay. Then the question says, this is paragraph 2, says, why does the child vomit? Because the abused stomach rebels against rebels against its ill treatment, and it tries to save itself. What sort of symptom of health would it be in an adult to go along the street vomiting up its dinner? Would the old ladies put their hands out of their windows and exclaim, "Oh, what a healthy man that is"? The stomach of the child should be so well treated that there should be no occasion for its vomiting. It should have a full breast on which it can depend for a full meal 3 times during the day, and never be nursed during the night. If the breast be scanty in its allowance, the child must nurse what it can get and have its meal finished by a little diluted, sweetened new cow's milk. Then let it be gently moved about for a while, and finally go to sleep. Let me repeat. If the breast be scanty in its allowance, the child must nurse what it can get and have its meal finished by a little diluted, sweetened new cow's milk. Then let it be gently moved about for a while, and finally go to sleep. Okay. Continuing in the same quote, in this way, the stomach has time to digest its food and time to gather up its forces for another regular meal. Its meal should be about the times of regular meals for adults under this This course, there should be little occasion to use those rocking brain destroyers. Continuing the same book, 118 paragraph 3 says, if infants from the first were treated in this way, they would not only be more healthy, but altogether more quiet and easy to be taken care of. Then instead of putting the child to the breast to stop its mouth and get rid of its crying, it would feel better and be far less likely to cry. And generally, instead of worrisome nights, usually caused by a disturbed stomach, it would sleep quietly till morning, and the mother with it. The food of the infant taken just before it sleeps or in the night interferes with its quiet rest, just as the rest of an adult person is disturbed from a similar cause. This method has been tried and proven successfully. Let others try it. You've gotten this one?
Namusang. Oh, yes, 118 paragraph 3. Page paragraph 3, what's happening? Now, what has been skipped, Yamakrado, you know, there are those who put Yavana to Mashana.
Credo.
Credos. Nobody said that credos should then be broken up for fuel. Hmm.
Read. You don't say I'm a books or not to be so. You know, huh?
Wow.
Okay. Says when the children are old enough to take solid foods, they should have only 3 meals a day. If they eat oftener, their stomachs will be deranged, and their food will not so well nourish them. If any mother would take pains to look at the laws of digestion, she will at once see that no child can take food oftener than once in 5 hours without interfering with a previous meal and injuring the healthful operation of the digestive organs. Those young people who have been brought up on the exclusive system of eating but 3 times a day have been found to be more than ordinarily strong and healthy, while others have been afflicted with worms, colic, cholera, morbus, and a host of other ailments common to the young in general. They have usually escaped. Okay. So you've seen that those that eat all the time, they have issues to do with the stomach. And these are the cases that you find. Discover that a person $1 pasa maybe positive or food still more the happy to continue. You see, no? So these ones they eat every time. So they have again worms, gases, and cholera. Okay. This is Feeding Infants, Review and Herald, April 14, 1868. That is BEG W. I don't know if you can find this one. Can you? Feeding of Infants, that is the RH April 14. RH April 14, 1868 at B at spelled as ART at BEGW. Okay. Have you found it?
Okay, that one was a challenge there. ati we mukuru wako ati kaliye mu restaurant mpaka oluke ati mukamuli amaboko y'abaana maya bakatoota ati awa mudaala baliyo.
Okay. It says, begins as follows. It says, I'm often told that in how to live, I stated that infants should be nursed but 3 times a day. Okay. Okay, so it says this is a mistake.
Is it also found in the Red Book? Or what is it bringing there? What other books is it offering? Or review and errors? Oh,
it says, I'm often told that in how to live, I stated that infants should be nursed but 3 times a day. This is a mistake, but it is true that in the second number of that work, page 52, the following expression is found. Baby should be nursed but 3 times a day. These are neither my words nor my sentiments. The article containing them was extracted from Coe's Philosophy of Health. The printer, failing to give the proper credit, the following statement was given on the first page of number 3. The article in number 2, headed particular directions to parents and guardians, should have been credited to this excellent work, the Philosophy of Health. My sentiments are these. No general rules can be established in the care of infants in a consequence of their almost endless varieties of condition at birth and their different constitutional wants. Number 2, no mother would confine the period of infant to a few days or weeks or even months after birth in how to live. Number 2, page 44. I did say infancy extends to the age of 6 or 7 years. Number 3, the term properly called infancy requires several changes as to the periods of taking food. Before birth, it is receiving nourishment constantly, and the changes from this to the establishment of only 2 meals a day, which may in most children be done from the ages of 1 to 3 years, must be gradual. Number 4, no rules for all children can be given as to the progressive steps in these changes. Parents must view the wants of their children by the best light they have. When all act upon the best light they can obtain, it can hardly be expected that all mistakes will be avoided, but it is safest and best for the cause of reform to err. If err, we must on the side of custom rather than on the side of extreme change. Okay, so she gives this question. Others that would want to challenge her on this one. This other one, what page is this one? This is temperance. Temperance, page 158, paragraph 1 to paragraph 2. Temperance, you know the book, is abbreviated as TE. Half the mother, is it the one? It begins with that? Okay. It says half the mothers deplorably ignorant. Not one half, is it the one? I'll find it.
You said TE page.
Page 158, paragraph 1.
Yes.
Okay, half the mothers deplorably ignorant, not one half the mothers know how to cook or what to set before their children. They place before their little nervous children these rich substances that burn in the throat and all the way down to the tender coats of the stomach, making it like a burnt boot. So it does not recognize healthful food. The little ones will come to the table and they cannot eat this or they cannot eat that. They take control and get just what they want, whether it is for their good or not. I would recommend letting them go without for at least 3 days until they are hungry. They are hungry enough to enjoy good, wholesome food. The point is just here. It says that a child can go without food for how many days? 3 days. I would risk their starving. I have never placed on my table things which I did not allow my children to partake of. I would place before them just what I myself would eat. The children would eat of this food and never think of asking for things not on the table. We should not indulge the appetite of our children by placing before them these rich foods. Full stop. Okay. Yes.
Elande Fioni sister white. Livianera. So nishi ari kwete abana. Oh. Nena ishi kwata. Oh, for the first time. Tutira vere njua iti, tatua ishiba inokutia kwa tabana. Okay. Oh.
To my dear grandchildren. Thank you.
Any more contributions? The quotes here are done. Let's go on. And this is 12:28. Remaining 2 minutes.
Any questions, comments, or contributions? Okay. Oh, yes, sir.
Shira sikwata fya pali nyukira bashanda nyukira ng'ombe nga twabenga road kanya mwana kwati paino shita kodi ng'ombe nga kwati mkaka. So as at now what we can do is kupinya panga vuiso ya milk to panga fya kuso ya milk kozi enga bako yo funa no kwana filia imina filia ngefuto a period kula le fimena ngaka wena fya nama sisi twaliko kule nama tetu fufunye kwicho ng'ombe mando amalwele ile kata wa amalwele so tetuishi bati ng'ombe iro tunturu oirwe tetuishi tetu wapima futi mara watawa nyama afina umuntu arwara tiye na pola mara futi na arwara so tetu de kwani shokuishi bati ng'ombe tutote tuto so my advice yako vya feswa mkinga tuwafundisha yakona ti mapanga lero ile umafe within a day tuma mapanga imi fafini la advice nga pera kaire kanya ni 2SC Shepherd page 11 paragraph 2 epali ati mkakate tumomfye fe ale prophet tufile fe twa momfya kwa kuswa myuki ati abana bakoste tete babushiti babovesha imbe nga fimbe apart from fikadisho.
Thank you so much. So the contribution by the brother is saying that going by the quote that we are getting from James White, that in case we go to the extremes where the child needs some help from sweetened milk, he's saying that by the time that statement was written, but now the time we have reached, we've seen that the animals are diseased and so longer. The use of milk is never safe in any man. So he is helping us to understand, say, what is recommended is let us go to soya milk. We make the soya milk and assist the child with it if at all we want. So that is the advice that the brother is helping us to know, that this is the stage where we are, that animals, you can't tell when it can fall sick or whether it is sick. It may look healthy outside, but you don't know what is inside. Just like a human being, today may be sick tomorrow, and you never know the time that you are getting the milk. I think I was just trying to put it here. Okay, you can come.
Pa quotation yali atatu shima twapuisha nga twabenga kufeimu shinyeshimu tefunya muri bari pushati. What about milk and eggs? Oh, okay, to enough for the milk. Well, that if Noah had not preserved the cattle, who would? Is it possible for SDAs to keep cow and chicken? Answer: if the time was not yet come to discard milk and eggs from our diet, it's better as possible to obtain this food product from our own cattle and farm. Those who think SDAs must not keep cow and chicken, even they may insist that the spirit of office support their opinion, take an extreme position based entirely upon the assumption we must not be allowed by the spark of the mankind, but rather than be led by the light of the wind. From the time that light came on health reform up to the present, the domination institution as well individual have kept cattle for and the spirit of office forbidden keeping this animal. Our people would have been plainly instructed to do so. Hence, and the match is no such record existed that no of those who forward such extreme position are endeavoring to make the spirit of office advocate that which is does not. So backward muri era ni mu 2s page 11. Oh, number 11, page 10, paragraph 9. That what about the milk and eggs? Question number 10. Shall we still continue use of milk and egg and butter? Answer: we bear positive testimony against tobacco, spirituals, liquor, nothing, tea, coffee, fresh meat, butter, spicy, rich cakes, mince pies, a large amount of salt, and excited substance used an article of food. If you read the testimony for the church, 21. The continuation to this quotation said that the time will come when we may have to discuss some of the articles of diet we now use, such as milk and cream and eggs, but it's not necessary to bring upon ourselves perplexity by premature and extreme restriction. Wait until the circumstance demand it, and the Lord prepare for the way for it. I am instructed to tell them to eat that food which is most nourishing. I cannot say to them, you must not eat eggs or milk or cream. You must use no butter in the preparation of food. The gospel must be preached to the poor, but the time has not yet come to prescribe the strictest diet. If you read the testimony for the church, volume 9, page 162 up to 163. So, muri the food quotation, the food n'abakobwa puipisha food that do not represent circumstantial demand to use this discuss milk and eggs from our diet. As abapire kwa that pa too symbolical number 11 page 10 paragraph 14 that we shall endeavor to answer the above the question by asking the following question: is there an actual epidemic among cattle and folk in your territory? Do you know anyone who has recently contracted disease from the use of milk and eggs? If so, the time has come for you to replace this food product with substitutes. Thus far, we are not as yet aware that the time has come absolutely to lay aside from our dietary poultry dairy products, but must found a substitute for them, so that when necessity demands that we resist from using them, and God opened the way, we can without difficulty act our part. Let the diet reform be progressive. Let the people be taught how to prepare food without the use of milk or butter. Tell them the time soon come when they are not safe in using eggs, milk, cream, or butter, because disease in animal is increasing in proportion to the increase of wickedness among men. The time is near when, because of iniquity of the foreign race, the whole animal creation will grow under the disease that case our F. This was for the church. Page ngawapanshi buku wanaisanga page wapike kwa. So everything ya shapa. Kodo kwandati amano na afisha mali mu uyo shitaido. Bale pakula ngomba yekikulia brown mukaka wenda bale shasengeti ngombe chile kwa tabalo bale panga balo bale mfya kwa shipera. Wele kukushikuisa konsira benjenda kuli. So lesanda ati nakwateshira agapangira mu fintu fimbi ifa twashanda ati soya myuki na fimbi tukapangira tukakamumbalala bla ukakala kwenu titwaipangira kutwani fintu fya kwa fya mushiri twaipangira fwebene kana tukwata ngoma famu tetulika kama na fertilizer fintu fili ofi twapanga ko chile na mafantu ina maenda no muntu fulani wala muntu wala kuna kliniki but ndio metayo kliniki.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Like they said that was soon, but since he has made the point from the reading that it is showing us that at least we need now to check around us that we can tell that the animals around us are sick, and the kind of produce they produce now is all chemicalized. So you see that some of these milk products come from animals that have never had a child, but they are given stimulating hormones, then they continue producing what? Milk. So we see that all those are things that are showing us that we are actually ingesting poisons instead of healthy foods. And so the encouragement is that we go back to those products that are natural, where we can extract our milk from, like you said, groundnuts or soya beans. Those can help us to have the best of products. I think that's the point. Thank you.
Okay. I just wanted to make I want everyone to be clear on this one. That's the reason I entitled this lesson saying breastfeeding and lactation and breastfeeding and nutrition. There's a period of time that you cannot introduce soya milk to the infant. Okay. Or maize milk or milk from groundnuts. That's the reason council brought saying that you can give milk from a goat, or from a cow. Okay, healthy cow or from a healthy what? Goat. Okay, these were explicit in council. So now the question which comes to us is that should we, because if you tolerate, for instance, if you tolerate, you give the child soya milk whilst they are young, you introduce soya milk whilst they are young, you bring diseases, more diseases than if you were to give what do you call cow's milk. So Ellen White, she gave the example. She says we should give what you call you should first look for a milk from a cow that is healthy. She gave the example how she had the Holstein and what? And the you remember the two cows she had? Okay. Okay, she had two health cows. And also Victor Shohatif, he brings it in the discussion. Says we cannot outrightly say that time for discarding milk has come. Huh? We cannot outrightly say that. But our duty is to look for the health cow if we're getting milk from them. And if you want to get eggs, our duty is to look for the health fowls. Let me give examples. Is to avoid extremism. For example, I had a case of someone. Let me give first the example of this one. This is coming from CD 204 paragraph 1. I had a case of, for instance, you find someone is lacking, is very weak. So this is CD, this 204 paragraph 1 says, do not go to extremes in regard to health reform. Some of our people are very careless in regard to health reform, but because some are far behind, you must not, in order to be an example to them, be an extremist. You must not deprive yourself of that class of food which makes good blood. Your devotion to true principles is leading you to submit yourself to a diet which is giving you an experience that will not recommend health reform. This is your danger. When you see that you are becoming weak physically, it is essential for you to make changes. Okay, for instance, we see, remember even in the quote which we gave, saying we breastfeed children only 3 times a day. 5, then you see the child is becoming weak. What do you do? You should make changes. The quotes, remember we gave extensive quotes. That's what a logical thinker would do. You make changes. It says, this is your danger. When you see that you are becoming weak physically, it is essential for you to make changes and at once. Put into your diet something you have left out. It is your duty to do this. Get eggs of healthy fowls. Use these eggs cooked or raw. Drop them uncooked into the best unfermented wine. Into the best unfermented wine you can find. This will supply that which is necessary to your system. Do not for a moment suppose that it will not be right to do this. We did this to a patient. Remember, like someone is almost dying, then you will think, okay, you hesitate. The person who is going to die, you're going to lose life. Examples also, this quote, this is symbolic code, 9 symbolic code. 9 symbolic codes, that is from 1 to 12. I don't know how this one.
9 symbolic code numbers 1 to 12, page 20, page 22, paragraph 1, 12, paragraph 12.
Okay.
Column 1, paragraph 12.
Okay, so there is discussing the nutrition. It says the energizer. This mixture is composed of the juice of 2 oranges, 1 teaspoon pure virgin olive oil, the yolk of 1 raw infertile egg, and half an orange peel grated very finely on top of the cocktail. So you see, like you want to give someone, he's become weak. This is an energizer. It's giving you how to do it. Another quote here on the extremism, which also he did quote, says, this is 3 manuscript releases, page 381, paragraph 2 and paragraph 3, says, when you see that you are becoming weak physically, it is essential for you to make changes and at once put into your diet something you have left out. This we've read. It is your duty to do this. Get eggs of health fowls. Use these eggs cooked or raw. Drop them uncooked into the best and fermented wine you can find. This will supply that which is necessary to your system. Do not for a moment suppose that it will not be right to do this. The prayer of faith shall save the sick, and I beseech you to call for the elders of the church without delay. May the Lord help you, is my most sincere prayer. We appreciate your experience as a physician, and yet I say that milk and eggs should be included in your diet. Okay, these things cannot at present be dispensed with, and the doctrine of dispensing with them should not be taught. Then she goes down, says, this is manuscript releases, volume 3, page.
Okay, I see we are going on and on. So
in short, what we are saying is that, yes, the food, let me just put in a nutshell. We cannot outrightly say today, because there's nowhere in the road and the what you call in the Ellen White writings to be telling people saying that we should stop taking what milk and eggs. We cannot do that. Then in time we will definitely decide. But if they have healthy eggs and the healthy milk, they can do what? They can give. This is the best stance which council is doing. That's the reason Ellen White and James White would do likewise. So if children, if those who are nursing children, we cannot say that person soya milk akalimwana, but you increase conditions. Okay, there's a certain age that you can increase. Maybe after 6 months, angambokuma soya milk. For 6 months, the child can digest. Okay, because if below 6 months, the child will suffer from botulism. Okay, food intoxication. So that you can do likewise. That's what I wanted to comment on. Okay,
thank you so very much. Looking at time, this part of the study is wonderful. So we have exceeded our time by 19 minutes. Now, what I want to say is this: that when you look at the quote in question, it was telling us, in an event that the child is not sucking, we shouldn't say that that is the thing we should do. So the condition is when you are in a situation where the child is not sucking, then you do those extremes. That is where council is saying we can do. But where Brother Keagan is saying that council has not said that we can outright. No. Inspiration, what it says that you can gauge where you are if the time has come. So what is helping us to now know that the time has come is even the manufactured foods. Yes, you are saying you can rear your own. We are not rearing our own. That is a fact. We don't have healthy beds. That is a fact. So we can tell that things are not in the way that they're supposed to be. But if we have an opportunity to rear our own, in case let us mark the point. In case we have a critical condition, that is when we fall back on those things. That is what council has said. It is not stopping us from doing that. It is saying that in case there is a critical condition, you can. But if you are healthy and everything is normal, let the animals live their life peacefully. They shouldn't be introduced into your what? Your food items. That is what inspiration has said. Yeah, so I'm sure when we meet the week after next, we'll be able to continue from this point on. I saw the brother at the hand and many others. So that when we bring these quotes together and harmonize them, we'll go home with one thing. So that we know that what inspiration is addressing is not encouraging anyone to return to milk or eggs, but rather it's saying that in case you have an extreme what? Condition, and then what you are lacking can be found at that moment from milk. He's saying it is better you do that than you go to drugs, which will make the situation what? Worse. Let us mark those words. Those are the ways that inspiration has guided on. So at this point, we shall ask Kunda to close for us in prayer. You also pray for if you are Kuliamkwai, so that we break off for lunch now.
Pepa twatotera mweresa panshitaino isuma iyo mwatupera ikisambiriro kuntanshi Yesu ichawama chine mweresa panshitaino tulipo amalwere nayafula mubikashobo twikaliremu mufyakulya na mufintu ifingi fyakusana teroro tulesambirire fimwenfumu lekeni tube abakwishiba nokutaluka kuri ifirewo naula imyewa shesu nemibiri shesu kaitu atotera kuri baticha batupere ekisambiro panshite yalinga mweresa balundire nipone palo na fimbi mwenfumu pakwebo kutira neryo tukesa isa uyu mulungu leisa twalomba na kaili mwenfumu ukutukasambirire nokulunda kona fimbi kaili mwenfumu tupadire nchapamo lekeni mweresa neryo twala salangana neryo twala fuma mwenfumu nabika maboko yenu mupashi wenu ukutunga bapali ifwe palene fyakulya mweresa efye twalalya ifyakumubiri lekeni mwenfumu finga kwa tenchende mkatika myo shesu nokukusha emibiri shesu chine mwenfumu fingi twingalomba kuntanshi yenu lero fyonse efi twashira mwishina lyenu Yesu Kristu mweba tufirire pa Calvary lekeni umulopa wenu utusamfyeme mfwe bana benu mwishina lya Tata na Mwana mpashi wa mshiro mwanalombera fyonse efi amen.
Okay, thank you so very much. So this is where our morning session ends. We are going to meet at 14:30 for the second session, which is a Bible study on the two covenants by Brother Bernard Chibwan. So we meet at 14:30. For now, it's bye-bye.